Hello everyone, welcome back to Katawa Shoujo. I'm feeling a bit under the weather today, but let's just continue, shall we? Waking up to the now slightly more familiar corridor of the girls' dormitories, I can hear the faint sound of laughter coming from up ahead. It doesn't take long to identify the source as Lily's room, though the deep timbre of the female voice unmistakably belongs not to her but to her sister. I rap my knuckles on the door with the usual 3 light taps, my hand barely retreating as the door swings open. Hey, Zao. Hello, Lily, Hanako, Akira. Hanako looks up tentatively, her hands buried in her oversized pink nightgown. From her side, Lily turns sideways towards the direction of my voice and smiles. It would be a flagrant lie to say I dislike the sight of her in those pajamas. I catch Akira giving me a sidelong look with a knowing grin, to which I reply with a sharp glare. She takes the hint, shrugs, and walks back to the low table in the center of the room. As I go to join her, Lily gives me a nod of greeting and starts pouring me a cup of tea. It's nice to see you again, Hanako. You've been getting around recently. Lily wears a look of concentration as a light brown liquid, carefully measured by her finger as always, flows from the teapot into the cup. It seems Hanako has taken up helping one of the people in your class with the newspaper club. Naomi, I think? Hanako gives an affirmative nod. Even after spending about 2 months in the class, I still have trouble remembering the names of those students I rarely talk with. Yeah, I rarely... With the people I rarely talk with at work, I also have trouble with that. It takes me a few mental contortions to connect the name with a face, but I eventually remember the girl that sits beside Hanako at the back of the class. Naomi Inoue? A fairly average-looking girl, except for her bleached blonde hair. Given her upbeat and straightforward personality, Naomi may have seen an opening to poach Hanako for her club when she inquired about joining one. Either way, it's nice to see Hanako broadening her horizons. When I first met her, the idea of her joining a club with anyone but Lily would have seemed utterly laughable. That'd explain how busy you've been. Enjoying it? It's really interesting. Yeah, to tell the truth, this is why I find the Lily route to be better for Hanako than Hanako's own route. Anyways. As always, Hanako's far from being talkative. Some things never change, and it seems that Hanako's personality is one of them. She'll likely always be the one to shy away from being overly social. Warned by the sound of crockery against the table as Lily gently places my drink in the front of me, I thank her and take a long sip. Hanako and Lily are attending to their own, and Akira is quaffing a mug of strong-smelling black coffee. You're a lucky bastard, Hizao. Huh? I can't help grimacing at her teasing smile, still visible around the edges of the mug pressed to her lips. Seeing my sister in her pajamas? There's a lot of men out there who'd like to be where you are. I've seen a lot more of that than that of her, not that I'd admit it. Akira? Hey, I'm just teasing. She leans over to me as much as she can, whispering with a sly grin written on her face. And Hanako too, you perv. Hey, it was her idea. We both look over to her, her face turned to the ground and her hands fidgeting in the lap of her nightgown. If it's Hizao, I don't mind. This could be bad. I know Hanako is altogether too innocent to bother reading too much into such a thing, but the expression Akira directs at me is positively stormy. Why, God? Akira, please. It seems Lily can sense Akira's sudden change in aura just as well as I, even without seeing it for herself. Akira slowly looks away from me, like an attack dog leashed by its owner in the nick of time. I breathe a sigh of relief. I can't think of a more appropriate time to try and change topics than around now. If you don't mind me asking, Akira, what do you do for a living? I've never seen you out of that suit. Thinking about what to do with yourself after school's over, eh? I'm a lawyer. For the most part, I work in the legal department of the Japanese branch of our family's company. The most boring possible answer, I suppose. Law's a pretty dry topic to most people. Kinda. Well, you're not supposed to agree. Lily gives an amused giggle while holding her teacup and saucer, Hanako quickly joining her. This friendly atmosphere between everyone is something I'd miss while Lily and Akira were on their trip. While the dealings I had with Hanako didn't help, I think just not having Lily around changed the mood. It's nice to be back. I missed you, Hazao, and you too, Hanako. Same goes for the both of us. I'm guessing your classmates were happy to see you back. In a manner of speaking, yes. Akira's amused snort shows she's well aware of Lily's attitude towards such figures of speech. I'd imagine she'd have to be, given how long they've been together. Did you have fun in Scotland? For a moment, I wonder why she's asking, it having been quite a while since they came back. But then I remember everything that happened. We've simply not had time to look back. What with the exams and our Hokkaido trip. Lily's face goes distant for a moment, and the fact that Akira's first reaction is to look over to her sister doesn't escape me. Nonetheless, she quickly collects herself. It was nice. We hadn't met our family in such a long time. It was a wonderful reunion. Yeah, I guess that's right. Their house being beachside was the best part, though. From her dismissive tone, I get the feeling Akira doesn't like their family as much as Lily does. You only like that because you finally had time to play around. Just cause I'm the better swimmer. I don't take after the athletic side of the family, that's all. Well, you take heart in the fact that you got the height genes at least. And the bus genes. That's not exactly the right kind of thing to say around others. Though Lily pretends to scold Akira, she does so with an unmistakable, slightly cheeky grin on her face. I doubt Akira really minds that, judging from her nonchalant expression. While I don't either, Hanako's looking down and blushing furiously beside me. The sisters' antics aside, their parents really do lead a bourgeoisie's lifestyle. It seems utterly divorced from the life that Lily and Akira have lived until now. I suppose practicality must have made the decision for them. To have come from such a wealthy and well-connected lineage only adds to the almost noble air Lily seems to have, though. It's a small wonder none of it seems to have rubbed off on Akira. They really are as little alike as siblings could be. Their only similarity seems to be their shared confidence, which can be both endearing and a headache at times. Most of the night continues much the same, with Hanako eventually leaving the Sato sisters and me to ourselves, as she heads back to her dorm room for a rest. For a while, only the barely audible sound from Lily's teacup and saucer can occasionally be heard as she slowly drinks. The silence is strained as Lily and I wait for the elephant in the room to be addressed. So... Lily dutifully puts her cup down, giving her sister her undivided attention. With Lily and me on one side of the low table, and Akira at the other, this almost feels like a judge passing down a verdict. I hear that you two are going out now. I glance sideways at Lily to confirm her as a source of Akira's knowledge. She gives a gentle nod to Akira, which I mirror in affirmation. Deciding that this is the proper time and place to do so, and Akira being the closest figure to a parent Lily's had for much of her life, I bow deeply with my hands on the floor, before me and my head very nearly the same. I'll take good care of your sister, Akira, I promise you. See? He's a lovely young gentleman. She must have heard my voice coming from a lower position than usual. I slowly bring myself up, my eyes tentatively looking to Akira from under my brow. To tell the truth, I very much doubt my suited judge will raise any objections. She's very definitely the type to make her disapproval with others well known, something that leads her a measure of respect in my eyes. The old-fashioned kind, huh? Well, he's kind of the person I guess you'd go for. I don't have a problem with it. I wish you two the best. Even if I didn't like it, I couldn't really do anything anyway. I offer a nod of appreciation to her, as Lily gives a small sigh of relief, likely more out of duty than any actual belief Akira might have had any problem with us being together. I do wonder, though, how's the rest of the family taking it? Particularly the part about residing at Yamaku. Have you told her? Smiles turn to grimaces as Akira grins downright evilly. Those closest know how to twist a knife best, after all. Putting up with it may be the best term for the situation. Don't you agree, Hazao? Yeah, that sounds about right. At least she's being reasonable about it. Good to hear. That girl can be a handful at the best of times. We sent a few messages back and forth during and just after the trip, and she was already busting my chops for seeing my boyfriend while we came back. After leaving Hideki for so long, she really does care for the little guy. I cast my mind back to Shizune's odd reaction after telling her about our relationship, but decide not to bring it up. It's no doubt simply born of their mutual antipathy, and Akira's comments only back that up. Well then, that's settled. Gotta get back to work early tomorrow, so I better be off. She rises from the table with a grunt, her hand on her knee to push herself up. I notice Akira's eyes lingering on Lily for a couple of seconds before turning away, as she begins to take her leave. After she walks out the door, she stops and looks up thoughtfully, before turning to us one last time. Oh yeah, I almost forgot to tell you. Use protection. Every time. I gag violently on the tea in my mouth. Contrary to my own, Lily's composure holds perfectly as she seems entirely unfazed. I'm kind of impressed. We are. Don't worry. I need to look at those scenes. Atta girl. She is. And with that, she turns and strides away, a hand held high as she disappears into the darkened hallway, closing the door behind her. The most reaction I can muster is flopping forwards onto the table, completely drained of energy and truly exhausted by her. Lily's ability to hold her own against that suited devil is something I admire. She really is incredibly blunt. I don't think I'll ever be able to keep up with your sister's energy. As I feel Lily's soft hand come to rest on my own, I roll my head to the side to see her gently smiling. For a long time, we simply sit beside each other silently. Given her unquestionably unusual height, she is pretty much exactly as tall as I am, probably a couple of centimeters higher if anything. Like this, she appears even taller. The feeling of her pale, soft hand against mine is a pleasant one, as the sight of the thin silken pajamas she wears, showing her curves and collarbone. You did get on well enough, even if you do say that. I guess. You know, you two are a lot more alike than I first thought when I met you. Then it's a good thing I quickly stopped you from going after her, isn't it? Though she jokes about it, my assessment of my inability to keep up with Akira, either physically or mentally, was quite in earnest. Lily's slow-paced and ladylike, almost motherly nature is perhaps the single thing that helped me most in my first weeks at Yamaku. Come to think of it. Wait, since when were we using protection? As I give a curious look to my side, Lily's cheeks puffs out as she huffs at me. Unlike you, I remembered. The packet is in the cupboard next to the sink. So I'm not the only one of us that takes a pill. In hindsight, I feel rather thoughtless for not remembering at all and leaving it to Lily. Yeah? Yeah. Looking over to the cupboard she mentions, I notice again the knee-high piles of books around us that were here the other times I'd visited. For the most part, they're lined up against the wall to give a little more room around the table. Why don't you get a bookshelf for your books? It's odd to see books just piled around, especially given that your room looks so neat and orderly otherwise. They're easier to find this way. I know exactly which which pile each book is in. Wouldn't you still know that after putting each set on a different shelf? That may be, but... So she's not immune to bouts of laziness after all. You have so many of them. It's kind of a shame we can't share our book sets despite both of us reading so much. She gives a short giggle. Come to think of it, why do you order your books through Yuko? I imagine there'd be plenty of sites that you could just order books in Braille from, especially in English Braille. There are a lot of text-to-speech programs too. She turns her head slightly away from me, which strikes me as somewhat surprising. I'm just not all that good with computers. I'm alright with typewriters and braillers, but that's about it. Her tone almost makes me chuckle. She's a prideful person, so admitting something like that must be difficult. So Lily's the low-tech kind of person. Given her old-fashioned personality, it's not that really stunning of a surprise. I wouldn't worry about it. A lot of people really aren't that good with them, so it's not that unusual. Yeah, in my time, everyone uses phones. Like back in 2009 and stuff, like the only people on computers and the internet and stuff, I imagine were either quite nerdy or tech savvy. Possibly both. So, you know. Yeah. That's unusual. Now she's even more depressed. It feels like I'm twisting the knife rather than healing her wounds. With a little bit of squirming, I shuffle my way closer to her, tentatively putting one hand around her waist to hug her. I'm still not really used to this kind of physical affection, but Lily seems to like it. Actually, how do blind people use technology? Like, again, they can't use screens, so... Like, they can't use touch screens and stuff, so... I wonder. I don't know. Yeah, I wonder, I guess. Okay. Wait, hold on. Hold on. With a bit of squirming, I shuffle my way closer to her, tentatively putting one hand around her waist to hug her. I'm still not really used to this kind of physical affection, but Lily seems to like it. Lily smiles as she turns to face me. A kiss being the reward for both giving in to her, she draws me in, brushing my upper lip with hers before pressing against both. This way, every one of my senses is filled with her. The barely perceptible scent of her hair, her taste as her tongue fleetingly touches mine, the tenderness of her lips, the image of her filling my mind, the total silence apart from her faint breath. We may have kissed before, but even if this is more of a kiss of simple affection than anything, it's still a new and pleasant sensation. Judging from her vivid blush as she pulls back, it's obvious she feels the same as I do. Even if we're entirely alone, it still feels a little embarrassing to open up to each other this much. If we take everything day by day, I think that would be for the best. Small steps, right? Yeah, just small steps. We have plenty of time to be together, even after the school year is over. As long as we move together, I think everything will work out okay. Neither of us is going anywhere soon after all. For now, I'm just thankful for this small moment in time we can spend together. You know, I figured I would say something else, but I realized that would not go well for this Let's Play. So, oh boy. I need to stretch a bit, yeah. Sorry about that. I am still very, very tired. I stand unmoving in front of the door to the nurse's office for what feels like at least a dozen minutes or so. It's not like I ever entered the small beige room before, nor is it because of any feeling of childlike anxiety over the visit. Maybe it's because the nurse's office is akin to a confessional, an admission that my body is flawed, the knowledge that such a fact is kept entirely confidential between the nurse and me hardly lessens the feeling. Remembering that the bell to signal the end of lunch break will sound soon, I give a sigh and open the door. The burden will stay with me just this little while longer. Well now, if it isn't a guy, good to see you. Or bad, yeah, I guess, considering that I'm the nurse. He gives a small laugh, amused at his little joke. I find his humor lacking and somewhat off, but the fact that he can make light of such a situation is perhaps comforting or at least distracting. His brief episode of entertainment over, he claps his hands together and gets down to business. I take a seat as he gestures for me to do so. I wish the classrooms had seats this comfortable. I can feel my mind wandering as my eyes quickly scan the room, distracted by the small changes since I last came. Alrighty, what brings you here? I haven't seen you often, so I assume your health's been good so far? Well, mostly. I see. His smile drops as I trail off. I feel slightly guilty about it. It's these moments where I can't rationally call myself normal that made me so reluctant to see the nurse. They're an admission that I'm different from everyone else. While I was on a trip during the long weekend, I had a few problems with my heart. He hums very seriously and nods as he does so, urging me to go on. I think it was I was walking a fairly long distance. I think the right term for it is a heart flutter. I suddenly went weak at the knees and felt almost like I was having a small heart attack, but it passed in about half a minute. Even afterward, though, I felt pretty fatigued and nauseous. Not good. Not good at all. That was how many days ago exactly? Did you do anything unusual, aside from exerting yourself before the episode? Were you taking your medication properly? The nurse switches from awkward jokester to serious health professional mode, rattling off questions, making notes, and calling up staff on his computer. I tell him about my forgetting to take my pills that morning and the preceding evening. It was a stupid thing to do, but I can't change anything about it now, except answer honestly and bite the bullet. His seriousness evolves into a frown, and the talks evolves into an instant checkup. I finish buttoning up my shirt, and again get motioned to take a seat in front of the nurse. Is this the first heart problem you've had since coming to Yamaku? I've had short pains in my chest before, just a couple of times. But they were more discomfort than anything like this. He leans back in his chair, briefly resembling a white-coated poirot as he mulls over the mysterious case of the heart flutter. Moving his lips from side to side to show he's thinking, his non-existent mustache wiggling, he eventually comes to a conclusion. Well, you survived it. That's always on the plus side. I blink at this one, then notice the nurse wearing his got you face. It's actually somewhat reassuring. I don't think he could crack jokes if things were really serious, so I keep silence and take my lumps. I'll have a talk with your doctor, but right now I suspect it's simply due to physical exertion. Have you been keeping up with regular light exercise like I directed you to? I make sure to walk a reasonable amount every day. It's usually enough to work up a bit of a sweat, but then again, I'm not really as fit as I used to be. That should be enough then. The main thing to keep in mind is to do regular slow stress exercise, not short bursts of sprinting and such. I understand. Since leaving the hospital, I've been a lot more focused on my studies, partly to take my mind off of not being able to do more physical things. It's good to hear you're coping well. Sudden lifestyle changes can be hard at the best of times, so I'm pleased to hear that you sound like you have everything in order, almost everything, that is. Nevertheless, I want to keep a close eye on you for a while, just for observation's sake, just to make sure things aren't going downhill, you understand? That's something I really didn't want to hear. Since coming to Yamaku, all I've wanted to do is live as normal a life as possible. Observation was one of the words I came to hate the most during my hospital stay. For so long, I felt as if I could have just walked straight out of the hospital doors, if not for that observation that the doctors wanted so dearly. Sure, I should come in more often. Should I come in more often? He checks the calendar next to his computer, which seems to inflict on him a nasty case of furrowed brow. He spins back toward me after that. The summer holidays are a bit of a pain, considering the timing. I'll check with your doctor to try to get a better handle on the situation and see how he wants to proceed. But I think you should just take things slowly and carefully for now. What you're describing doesn't immediately sound like a reoccurring event, but it won't hurt to slow down a bit for a while just to make sure. What should I do for today? He looks over my shoulder, at a clock hanging over the door. I'd never have noticed it if I hadn't followed his gaze. It's nearly time for school to be over, so you may as well just leave early. He gives me a sly wink, making sure that I understand he's doing me a favor. Well, nurse's orders. Thanks. That's what I'm here for, after all. I know you might not want to hear this, but you can't ignore your condition. Don't hesitate to see me if you have any further problems, or if you have anything you want to ask. Bye. He spins around and gets back to typing on the computer in front of him. I suppose I'll just read before waiting for Lily by the gate, considering I don't have much else to do. Even as I leave, his words echo in my mind. My condition isn't something as limiting as many of the others here in Yamaku, and I don't want to burden Lily with thinking about it. If I just live life normally and avoid any short, sharp knocks, I should be okay. I won't let my condition rule me. Lily comes into view soon after the bells heralding the end of the school day ring out. She says farewell to a number of her classmates headed in the other direction, before beginning her weekly trip to the convenience store. Afternoon, Lily. The immediate warm smile and relaxed demeanor she assumes upon noticing my presence are unexpectedly welcome. Hello, Azao. Good afternoon to you, too. She hesitates for a second, but eventually deigns to tilt her face forward and close her eyes. My lips meet hers in a measure of slight trepidation before we move off hand in hand. The fact that we're so close in height is somewhat useful at times, there being no need for either of us to turn our head upwards or downwards in order to meet the others. It doesn't take much time to leave the noise of the other students far behind us, the tapping of Lily's cane in her furry hand, the only sound to be heard. Silence, blissful silence, is all that greets us while we slowly walk in the setting sun's light. Silence, blissful silence. I am reminded of something that has nothing to do with this game. I mean, it has to do with another game, but I don't think I'll be playing that game, especially since it's a fan game of another game. Anyways. Oh well. I might someday. Should I just link that to whatever this video is? Should I just write that down somewhere? if I do a Let's Play of that game? Anyways. I think I'm coming to really like this town. The huge green hilly expanse, the trees everywhere, the somewhat rustic little buildings. So you've come to appreciate the tranquility of it as well. I think so. I came from a metropolitan city near Tokyo, so the quiet of this town really alienated me when I first arrived. After a while, it became really nice though. I think I prefer it to the hustle and bustle of my home city now. Well, I preferred the quiet of such a rural town even when I first arrived. I suppose I had the advantage of growing up in a quiet area before I came. Hanako said the surroundings are very pretty too. Lily may say such a thing quite easily, but each time she mentions how others describe sights around her as beautiful or pretty, I feel a little put off. I notice her expression becoming one of anticipation for some question or another. She's always had a good sense for when somebody's not saying something that's on their mind, so I may as well speak up. I was kind of wondering how to put this. Do you ever regret that you can't see things you like for yourself? It's just something I've been thinking about. She thinks carefully for a time. Do you ever regret you can't hear people whispering on the other side of a room? I can only speak for myself, but the fact that I can't see is the only way I've experienced life. Just as I cannot do something you can, you can't do something that I'm capable of. The fact that the world is made for those who are sighted can be a pain sometimes, but there are many, many people who suffer much more than I because of the way the world is. That does make sense, but still, it just feels kind of bad to describe something you can't experience to you. She tilts her head quizzically, as if I'd just said something that makes very little sense at all. Yeah, like, I get that. Like, people experience things that I have no idea about all the time because I'm autistic. And I've experienced things that I would imagine the vast majority of people would have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about. And partially because I'm bad at describing things. But anyways. Point is, everyone has a different perspective, and there's certain things that get people. There are certain things that get people thinking differently, like diseases and mental issues and different experiences and whatnot. And like, you don't have to be blind to not understand what someone is talking about, right? Especially if you haven't experienced something. So yeah, like. Anyways, hold on. She tilts her head quizzically, as if to say something. Yeah. But I can experience it. You just said it yourself that you like this area because of the way the surroundings are. I like this area for the very same reason. Thanks to the fact that this is a small rustic town surrounded by trees, it gives some peace and quiet away from the din at the school and the bustle, not to mention the smells of the city. I suppose it would also be much like the house she shared Akira with as well. With Akira as well. Her outlook on it seems pretty sensible, and I'm not surprised that she's got a much better handle on her particular condition than I do mine. Just like how her coming from a location somewhat similar to Yamaku's surroundings led her become acclimatized in a shorter time, being born blind affected her stance by her own admission. I should stop being so annoyed with myself over it, but I can't shake the feeling that I've depended on Lily far too much, given the circumstances most have had to deal with in Yamaku. That makes a lot of sense. You're pretty good at explaining, as always. Come to think of it, where's Hanako anyway? She was with us for lunch. It seems she's busy studying. The exams are far from over, and she said she wants to do better this year than the last. While I admire her work ethic, she's really been trying to give us a lot of room alone recently. She's that type of person, I think. It's the kind that puts others' needs above her own at every chance. She's a sweet girl, even though so much has hurt her in the past. I don't know. I feel like it's only now, when she's less close to me than ever, that she's truly finding herself. It was thanks to you that she began to become more confident after all, not me. Yeah, like, unironically, Hanako has a better outcome in fucking Lily's route than in her own route. This is what I'm talking about. Anyway. I take my hand from hers and gently place it on her hand. The important thing is that you were there for her. I can't even imagine what she'd be like without having found someone like you. That much became obvious while you were in Scotland. We're all still friends, so we've just got to have faith in her. I think she'll become a good person, and that much is thanks to you being there for her when she most needed it, just as you were there for me. It makes me feel a bit childish when you sound so wise. Well, I try. Are you doing anything on the weekend by any chance? Nothing that comes to mind. Why? Then how about a date on Sunday? It'd be something to do besides exam preparation. Countering my rapidly beating heart, she simply smiles and nods. That would be lovely. Where would you like to go? Her face suddenly changes to one of disapproval. You can't do that, Hizao. That's cheating. Do what? A gentleman should never ask a lady where to have a date. Uh-oh. Her smile quickly comes back, assuring me that she's far from serious. Don't worry about it. I'll think about where we could go. I'll leave it to you then. I promise to decide on the next date, though. With our plans for the weekend made, the rest of the walk down the hill continues in silence. The prospect of that lasting for any length of time, however, is shattered as I catch sight of a familiar figure walking for us, her hand held high. Yo. Thank you, please come again. The change in temperature as I step outside from the convenience store sends a chill up my spine. It feels like summer's starting to wind down. Looking to my side, the same feeling seems to affect Lily as well, though unlike me, she doesn't manage to hide the fact. Something I didn't realize at first was how physically delicate she was, even compared to the likes of Hanako. If I had to describe her, I'd say she reminds me of a China doll. Akira walks up behind her and gives a couple of hard pats on the shoulder, much to Lily's consternation. For a moment, she looks as envious of my status as an only child as I am of their close relationship. They talk between themselves for a few moments as I sort out my bags, their voices too low for me to catch, but eventually they break off and we begin to walk back to school. It feels good to be out of that damned office. You kids don't know how good you have it here. Kids. You too, then. Kids grow up so fast nowadays. You're not old enough to say that. Look, I started saying kids when referring to teenagers when I hit my 20s. It's not like I became 20 and in my mind teenagers flip to kids. That's how I refer to them. Anyways, so you're not old enough to say that. Look, if Akira is 20 or older, I'm pretty sure she can. I don't know, being around Hideki makes me feel damn old. He's so precautious. He reminds me of when you were younger. He's a nice boy. It would be a shame if Shizune comes to have too much of an influence on him. Akira gives an amused snort at her sister's antipathy. She really doesn't seem to regard it as anything to make a serious fuss about, treating it more like a childhood spat. She looks over to me, apparently only just remembering that I'm here, and gives a small grin as she reaches towards her back pocket. What is it? Just a sec, let me dig it out. After quite some difficulty, she manages to retrieve her black leather wallet from her back pocket, quickly fishing out what looks like to be a folded square of paper. With Lily all but unaware of what's happening, Akira unfolds a scrap and hands it to me. Huh. An old photo of what looks to be a younger Lily and Shizune operating a noodle stall with some other girl in the background. She looks vaguely familiar, but I can't quite pinpoint why. Yeah, okay, so of course you have Lily here on the right. You have Shizune on the left. And then I believe this is Misha in the middle. Because if we remember correctly, when Misha if we remember correctly, Misha had brown hair. Like long brown hair before she dyed it pink and had it like drilled. So, yeah. What is it, Akira? I think you know. Lily mulls this over for a few moments before realization dawns on her. Akira, you really needn't. It's fine, isn't it? Besides, it's like the only photo I have of you two since you entered Yamaku, while you were gnawed at each other's throats. I look back down to the photo in my hand. It does seem strange to see Lily and Shizune working together so diligently without any sign of animosity. If the photos of them during Yamaku's festival, that means it must have been taken 1 or 2 years ago. In other words, the time when they were both in student council together. Who's the girl in the back? She looks kind of familiar. Ha, I knew you wouldn't recognize her. It's Misha before she went and dyed her hair pink. Yeah. That's Misha? No way. It feels extremely strange to see Misha without her very distinctive hairstyle. Judging from Akira's tone, she doesn't take favorably to Misha's idea of fashion. I suppose the fact just accentuates how odd the situation looks. To think they were so friendly in the past. I wish I could do something to mend their relationship. You're being very quiet, Hizao. It just feels kind of strange to see you all so friendly like this. Lily moves to say something, but stops herself. In the end, this isn't a matter for me. It's between Chizune and Lily and nobody else. Things change, unfortunately. I hand the photo back to Akira, who sighs as she folds it up and slides it back into her wallet. A little memory quietly hidden away till be pulled out again sometime later. Yeah, that they do. Initially, I think Akira's reaction to be simply in response to the situation between Lily and Chizune, but she looks oddly glum compared to what I expect. Lily's expression has clouded as well. What's wrong? It's just that I'll be going to Scotland very soon. Fairly soon. You're leaving for Scotland again? For a long moment, Akira looked surprised. It's an ill-fitting expression for her. After a glance at Lily, she turns back to me, as if she'd never done so. Yeah, in a couple of weeks I'll be leaving for Inverness to work at the company's headquarters. It's a pretty big jump in corporate position. It's not a chance that's going to come again. So Akira's going to leave Japan on what seems to be a permanent basis. I can't help feeling that my assumption that we could all happily while away our days having fun in this isolated little world is coming to an end. It's unsettling. I look at Lily, mildly surprised that she hasn't told me such a thing despite usually being so forthcoming. She continues to walk with her face fixedly pointed ahead. I can't read her expression, nor can I even guess what's on her mind, which is discomforting given how it's usually easy for me to do both. It reminds me of the time when we met at the Shanghai just before what could be called our first date. At the time, all I can do was comfort her without knowing the cause, and now feels no different. As we finally reach the school dormitories once again, there's a somewhat awkward silence. I don't think I'm the only one who feels it. See you tomorrow, Lily. Bye, Akira. Good night, Isao. See ya. And with that, they walk to the female dormitories. Opening the door to the male dormitories, I stop and look back at them just moments before their figures disappear behind the heavy wooden door. That was a strange moment when Akira said she was leaving. While that wasn't the first time my thoughts regarding my new life had been called into question, it's perhaps the first time to do it quite so profoundly. I still don't know what to make of Akira's reaction, much less of Lily's. The night's chill reminds me to get back to my room before I catch something, my bags pulling down my arms with seemingly redoubled weight. If nothing else, I have a date with her set up for the weekend. I just need to stop overthinking stuff and get on with things as they are. The exams are still ongoing, after all, and with the trimester's end and the summer holidays beginning soon, there'll be plenty to keep me busy for a while. As I give a yawn and retreat inside, my thoughts turn to what Lily will decide to set as the location of our weekend rendezvous. Okay, so... Like I already said, I wasn't feeling that well. I was hoping to end it this week. Okay, yeah, I think I'm definitely saving here. Okay, great new save, there you go. Alright, main menu, yeah. Okay. So, Dean the Artist, actually I'm not 45 yet, so, yeah. Now, it's a shame, because one thing I really wanted to do... Alright, how much... Yeah, okay, there's these, and then an age scene, and then... Yeah, at least, I'll say these two... At least two of these are the endings. And then we have, like, 4 more CGs to get outside of the endings. So, anyways. Well, we also did get a new thing in the small images. I'm just gonna call them small images. Those are just... There it is. 2 further images. So, like... Yeah, there's a good number of images I still need to get. let me look at this. How many scenes are left? Yeah, 95% complete. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, hold on. Okay, so yeah, a good chunk of them. Like, yeah, so like, it'll still be a couple of episodes before I even reach an ending. But I think I'm doing well so far. So anyways, it's been Dean the Artist. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day. Hopefully tomorrow I will feel better. Goodbye. See you tomorrow. See you later.